how much does it factor in that in the back-to-back weeks that we've really struggled on the O-line and in rushing, it's been against, arguably two of the top defensive lines in the country? Because I feel like in the first 3 weeks, the offensive line played, they exceeded my expectations at least. They weren't perfect, but, they were fine. How much do you think the last 2 weeks factor into, our opinions of them?
I think the level of competition is clearly part of the discussion. I mean, had this been done against teams that had far inferior talent to Clemson and Pittsburgh, especially in terms of the defensive line, that'd be one thing. I mean, it's not great, but I mean, if you're also looking at this schedule, these are the two best defensive lines that we're going to face. So, I mean, yeah, that's part of it.
Okay, yeah, I'm just a huge fan of Coach Justice. I really like the way that some of the O linemen are coming together. No Jared Williams today though, at right tackle. So that was kind of interesting to see.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask next about the receivers. Will Mallory 2 touchdowns in replace for Brevin Jordan. And boys, I won't lie to you. When I heard Brevin was out, I got really scared. That was before I heard Pickett was out, though, because Brevin catches what seems like 80% of our passes. But Mallory stepped up big, 2 touchdowns. Mike Harley had a touchdown. Mark Pope caught 5 passes. Jay, I'll ask you, and then Cam, I'll ask you. How would you grade the wide receivers today?
I'm not seeing that much of a difference, to be honest. I was glad to see some of the younger dudes in there. And for me personally, when it comes to the receivers, I've never been on this, throw a dude away. He's a senior, he's a junior, whatever. He's not good enough. Get him out of there. Let's start over. That's not the way I'm looking at it. The way I'm looking at it is based on what we do have, your certain skill set can only help us in specific spots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we got the 2 short guys outside. Their skill set just can't help us there. So when I see bigger bodies on the bench, even though they're young, I'm willing to take that chance. So when I see the other teams in the country, the top teams, when they're willing to throw a freshman out there because he has a big body or because he has the speed or whatever they need. I think I heard Pitt's leading receiver right now is a freshman. You know what I'm saying? He has the speed, so they have to use that. And that's what I want to see from us moving forward. I was glad to see more of a rotation today. I'm not going to give them a grade. We got the win, like I said. I'm happy we got the win. Still looks shaky in some spots, but I'll take it for now.
I mean, their receiver, who's the leading receiver for them, who's a freshman, that's Buddy who hit us for 8 for 147 today. Oof. Jordan Addison. Like, I mean, it's not just like, in a vacuum, like, this guy. Like, no, he did capital N numbers, and that's on 13 targets too. So 18 and a half a catch on 13 targets for 147. So you're even at like 11 yards a target almost for this kid every time that we threw him that they threw him the ball, and nobody else had more than 40 yards receiving. So he literally had half of their passing or their receiving offense.
If that's us, he's not on the field, bro.
But and that's what I'm saying. So I mean, I hear you with that. Okay, I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. So if you're upperclassmen, like, get off of the roster. But just like to your point, you said it very well. You need to put people in positions where they can have a bonus or a benefit to this offense, and that's what I want to see. And that's what I'm talking about. Michael Redden III and Keyshawn Smith, and these guys. Okay, Keyshawn dropped that ball or whatever. People want to say,
that was pass interference.
People want to say pass interference. I don't care.
Yeah.
Give me the ball.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No. You can keep the flag because I still need you to make that play. Because what happens if they don't call that? They didn't call it, and now you're going back there. I don't care. Don't cry about it. Don't talk about it. Be about it. Give me the ball through the contact, through all that. If you're a baller, you do that.
You ball.
And your guy, your best friend, AR2 Amon Richards, he would tell me if I'm lying. Of when he played football, that's a catch.
Oh, hell yeah. Dude, that App State catch he had over the shoulder.
Hello?
As a freshman.
All day. I don't care. As a true freshman, straight out of high school, give me that. Get off of me. You can't check me. It doesn't matter. Keep the flag. That's what I'm talking about. But if you have guys and you put them in positions to be successful, you can have that. And they're trying so hard to get these guys going at receiver. Yeah. You can see by the concepts they run and everything, they're trying so hard to get Mark Pope going or get D. Wiggins or get Mike Harley. And then look, he had that great play on that post wheel for the touchdown and everything, where he's butt naked doing backflips and cartwheels. I get it. But like, why are we working so hard to try to get a little bit from this guy or these guys when we could rotate the rotation, and it might make our lives easier by putting other guys in those positions? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's
the worst that can happen? Like they drop the passes?
Oh, go ahead then.
The only reason, this is my other thing that I've noticed this past week. I think by now everybody's pretty sure on what we have. We saw it against the top team, and then we saw it against another good team, even though they had a quarterback. What I'm seeing right now is a lack of continuity. So I was saying this on Twitter the other day. It might have been yesterday, actually. When I'm watching these receivers and I'm doing my fan complaints from the couch on the Twitter phone, I feel like I know what we have better than our staff, because our staff changes every year or two. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I feel like they had no choice but to say, okay, here's our upperclassman. He's doing the drills right. I have to put him in. You have no choice but to do that.
Right.
So I already knew what was going to happen in the game, but if this is year 2, maybe I already know what I'm gonna get from Pope, or they know. I already knew. I knew what I was gonna get from Pope and Harley. I knew what I was gonna get from Wiggins. So right. I'm already starting off my first 3 games before I get to Clemson, finding out answers instead of going into Clemson and Pitt with still question marks. Because it's a little bit late to start trying everything. I mean, we ain't got the choice now, but like we're still trying stuff that we could have had answers for already. That same catch you're talking about, maybe is a different play if this ain't the first time he really getting his feet wet. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, and he got his feet wet in the scrimmages and everything, but I mean, it's funny. I was thinking about
against who?
Exactly. But guys who are probably not on the roster anymore, or who are, handing out water like the water boy. And I just watched that movie the other day. That's why I bring up that comparison. But I mean, I was just thinking that on the drive home from where I was watching the game and everything, about the lack of continuity, especially at wide receivers coach. Field has been here. Hickson's been here. You wanted to change the offensive line coach, so hopefully, another Mango season is going to help them. But in terms of wide receiver coach, yeah. But I mean, we need these guys to step up, or make that signal to go to the bullpen and bring out one or two or three of these freshmen, because every time that they got a chance, even if it was in a controlled environment, in scrimmages and practices, every time that they got a chance through fall camp, they were making plays.
Right.
So why, if you're controlling the environment to give them a specific opportunity, then you need to work during games to present them with those opportunities, because they've proven, given this opportunity, given this look, given this chance, they can perform. And then have that be the seed from which the tree of their career grows.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. It should have been the first 3 games that we was doing that, bro.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry to cut you off, Marsh, but like, if you look back, they actually gave some guys a couple snaps. But the thing is, if you're just out there lining up when we're going to run the ball, you're not really giving them the experience. Yeah. So I know people are going to look back at the stat sheets. They're going to look back at, and you can find these things on the internet. You can find them on the Hurricanes website. You can go through the full statistical thing and be like, well, Keyshawn Smith played 5 snaps in the opener. What did he do? Did he run a route? Did they target him? Was it in a position or a situation of even intermediate leverage, like a thing where like it was a snap that mattered into the story of the game? Or was it a thing where it's just like, okay, we're going to run the ball, and we're having a guy on the outside run 9 routes to run off the corner on that side. So go do a couple of those, but we're not going to throw you the ball. All snaps are not equal, and what they do with them are not equal. So I hear you that, yeah, we maybe could. And hey, fine. If we didn't do it early, let's at least then give a little credit to the staff for doing it now.
Definitely.
Because, again, the snaps that they've gotten against Clemson and Pittsburgh have been very impactful, even though we lost one game and then won another one and didn't look great. Those snaps are far more impactful to their performance and development than any snaps in the first 3 games would have been, because we ran the ball all day in the opener and then we blew out 2 terrible teams after that.
I mean, it's definitely time to at least see more of Keyshawn Smith. That dude can play, and put him out there more, and I think he's going to get more comfortable, where he can make those deep catches over the shoulder and things like that. Last question about the receiver. Did Jeremiah Payton play today?
Yeah, he was targeted a couple times.
Okay. Where has he been?
His shoe came off, right? That was him?
Yeah, that was him.
Oh, right.
Uh-huh. And there was another couple that he was targeted on as well.
Where has he been? I know he was out for a game or two because of COVID, but I mean, coming into the season, people were expecting big numbers from him, and I was expecting big numbers from guys like D. Wiggins, so Mike Harley, so a lot of us are striking out on our predictions. But what are your Cam? I wanted to ask you before we head over to the defense. Quick thoughts about Jeremiah Payne. Does he need a few years? Are people overhyping him? What do you think?
I mean, he's a rubber meat road kind of a guy. He was targeted 3 times today. They were all incompletions, so he did not record an official statistic in the receiving game and everything. But, I think that some of what he could do has fallen by the wayside because of what I spoke about earlier, because of the offense and the offensive staff pushing so very hard to try to scheme up something for Mark Pope and or D. Wiggins and or Mike Harley, because you could scheme that or something up for Jeremiah Payton instead of those guys. But the clear push at wide receiver has been for 3, 6, and 8. And they're scheming things up, they're dialing things up, they're trying to get those guys going. And to do that, it comes at the expense of someone else. It's the same thing that I talk about in recruiting. You want every single player in South Florida to be in the recruiting class. At some point, you have to make a judgment and say, this guy is the guy we're going to go after, and this guy is a guy we're not. And so you're taking that opportunity or whatever away from the other one. Same thing with Jeremiah Payton. He's not the focal point of the offense. He's not one of the top 3 guys that they're scheming something up for. And so his opportunities are very limited. And unfortunately, today he wasn't able to do anything with any of them. Yeah,
I mean, because the quote from Rob Likens in fall camp where he said that Jeremiah Payne was, one of the most gifted players he's ever coached, it just rings in my head because I'm still, looking for that production. But let's move to the defense. Gave up 22 yards rushing, so that is obviously a big upgrade for us. Pass defense was a little shaky at times, but, we did the job, only gave up 1 touchdown. We were put in some bad situations, committed some stupid-ass penalties. Penalties.
Wait. When were we put in bad situations?
Well, I mean, like when De'Aaron King threw interceptions, those 2, for sure.
Okay.
And I guess
beyond that,
beyond that, it was self-inflicted.
So those are 2 drives then.
Yeah.
Put in bad situations.
Yeah. So the other drives were self-inflicted because of penalties and missed tackles. I was leaning more towards the 2 interceptions.
Let's think about this too. How many off the top of your head? Because I'm looking at the answer, so I have it. How many drives did Pittsburgh have today?
Ooh, 4?
How many
5?
times did they have the ball?
I don't know. Tell us the answer.
They had the ball 14 times. So 1 out of every 7, 14.2% of the time, we were put in a bad situation because of the offense. That's not enough to really affect things, in my personal estimation.
No, yeah, that's a good point.
You're in a good or decent situation. Like, nah. I don't know, bro.
Okay, let's get your initial thoughts about the defense today. What'd you like? What you didn't like? Quincy Roche obviously had a big game. And then we'll Jay, you can talk about the defense a little bit.
Yeah. I've been talking a lot. Let's cue it up to Jay.
Alrighty. Jay, what'd you think?
Answers. Go ahead. You started off.
No, I just want to give that one statistical answer. Go ahead, fam.
Okay. My thoughts initially after the game, I think that it's another situation where I see where we are. Like, I'm tough on people, especially on the defensive end. So right now, I feel like we got 2 good ends. We got some plays every now and then from the inside, and Bubba Bolden is the defense, bro. That's we talking straight feelings, not facts, not stats, nothing. Bubba Bolden is the defense right now, and I'm glad he's on the team.
Yeah. I mean,
outside of that, bro, like I don't feel like nothing is sure, including Baker. And that's the other thing I was thinking about after the game. I miss Manny Diaz being our defensive coordinator so bad, because there's certain things that, whether you're an offense coordinator or a defense coordinator, there's certain things that you do when you really got a feel for the game that you can't teach. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Manny's had that. And I feel like Baker doesn't, bro. I'll be watching these blitzes sometimes, and I'll be like, I don't know if it's a bad call or what, but like it's just not. It was pointless. You know what I mean? Like I get that feeling so many times. It's like you just called something, and I don't trust his whatever the word is, a niche or something, whatever the word is for having the flow of the game and doing things to where you say that was a great call for that